Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al, week 15, and I have your top stacks video. Now, we're going to look at the slate on DraftKings. We're going to pick out the 5 top stacks for the slate for NFL DFS this weekend, but this is going to be my final video on the week. I am traveling to New Orleans for the DraftKings World Championship of Fantasy Football this week, and I have 2 entries in the Rainmakers event. I have 1 entry in the Daily Fantasy event. I'm going to see how high I can get my lineups up the standing sheet. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get my way up to or near the top. 2.5 million up top of the DFS one, $250,000 on top of the Rainmakers Championship. It's going to be very tough, but I got to try and secure the bag and the belt this weekend. So there will not be a Friday show. There will not be a Saturday show. I will post the 5 under 5 in Discord. So make sure that you go to smizzle.tv/Discord and join the community there so that you don't miss out on any of the great content that we put out here on the main channel and all the other places that we go. So thank you guys for being here. Just wanted to put that announcement out there. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let me know what food you'd want to eat if you went to New Orleans. Let's go.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League for this week will go on Sunday, the main Sunday slate as usual. I know that there's a 3-game Saturday slate, but it'll be for the Sunday slate. 2,500 entries in this one, $10, 3 max. It does not exist in the lobby. You have to go to smizzle.tv/links if you want to find the link to the Smiz Gang Listener League. I am stumbling over everything on this video, and I haven't even gotten started. Absolutely no rake, just like always, the best tournament that exists on DraftKings. Go get your entries today. The first stack, this is a tough week. I'm just letting you know because I know all of a sudden a bunch of y'all just sat way up in your chair and went, what? Yes. The New York Jets are a really good stack this week for a couple of reasons. One, they're playing against Detroit, and Detroit in the dome or out of the dome is a really terrible defensive team against a lot of different things. Now, they have been greatly improved the last 5-6 weeks against the run, but they have done nothing to stop teams from passing on them with any sort of efficiency. And coupled with the, let's say, heightened expectation for efficiency for this Jets offense, and it's not like Mike White has not done a good job piloting this Jets offense. Now look, game against Chicago, really soft defense. Game against Minnesota, very soft defense. Buffalo, not soft. So he had his worst game against them out of the 3. Now he gets another nice landing spot. I'm not trying to make all these airplane puns. They're just coming naturally to me. I guess it's just, I'm like a 10th level black belt dad or something, whatever it is. He has another soft matchup this week. And in the 2 soft matchups he had previously, 22.4 DraftKings points, 27.8 DraftKings points. And you're going to really laugh when we get to the wide receivers. For the last few weeks, we've just been playing Garrett Wilson as much as we can. And his price really has 26 points, 27 points, almost 14 points in the tough game against Buffalo in Buffalo. But his salary didn't really move up all that much. It was $5,900 last week. Now he gets a really soft matchup and at home, and it's only $6,000. He is going to project as a really good value. We're hoping in cash games to get 18 out of him, but 18 in tournaments isn't going to be enough. But the opportunity for 25 plus has been there, specifically against these exploitable defenses. So Garrett Wilson in play here. We have to monitor Corey Davis. He has a concussion, did not practice on Wednesday. If Corey Davis does not go, that opens up some snaps and some target opportunities for Elijah Moore, who's seen his snaps increase and his route participation increase. And now with Corey Davis out last week with the concussion, we saw 10 targets for Elijah Moore. The coupling of Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson is big. And the fact that he's only 3,600, if we have Davis out, is going to project like a very good value play pretty much everywhere. You can go with Braxton Berrios if you want. We've seen him have solid games before, but he's the low percentage guy. You can include him in the stack if you'd like to. And also Gronklin is 3,100 coming off of 15 targets the last 2 weeks. It's not because I think Mike White's going to put up 35 fantasy points. And it's not because I think Elijah Moore or Gronklin are going to put up 25 plus. But the fact that you're getting a double stack here for 54, you're definitely playing Wilson in your double stacks unless you're really trying to get super different here. And then getting a sub 4K wide receiver or a 3,100 tight end to go along with Mike White, where if Mike White throws for multiple touchdowns in a game again or throws for 31 completions with DraftKings scoring, it is very easy for this Jets double to pay itself off. So they grade very well as a value stack this week. Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers are the opposite of a value stack, but the Tennessee Titans have been a defense that we have wanted to attack a lot. If you've noticed, if you've watched the show for the last few weeks, you realize that we're double stacking against Tennessee pretty much whenever we can. They're very good at stopping the run. Very big, very strong, very talented front four. You just can't run the ball very effectively or efficiently against Tennessee, but their cornerbacks just aren't very good. Their safeties aren't very good. They don't have the wherewithal to stop good passing attacks. And if you look at the amount of yards passing that they've allowed against, it makes sense. And now here we get Justin Herbert and the Chargers with a fully operational battle station, seemingly for the first time in 2.5 months. Mike Williams is back and healthy. Keenan Allen back and healthy. Josh Palmer moved to the number 3 spot. DeAndre Carter coming in when they go 4 wide, and Austin Eckler there with Gerald Everett at tight end. His full complement of pass catchers to go along with him to allow him to get the opportunity to do this much easier. The 300-yard bonus, which also certainly is in play against Tennessee. And the pricing for like Eckler, you could include Eckler in this stack if you want to. He's 8,500. He's extremely expensive, right? We get that. However, Keenan Allen, 28 targets the last 2 weeks. I'm not saying he's going to have 14 targets again this week, but like 10 targets is certainly in play. And it's especially an especially exploitable situation against Tennessee. And a lot of Tennessee's yards that they give up are on the outside. Now, Mike Williams is not a good separator, but he is a downfield threat. He also is fantastic at contested catches, as we saw last week. Doesn't get the volume that Keenan Allen's going to get on a week in, week out basis, but also only 6,300. The possibility for like 20 catches between these two guys is certainly there. The opportunity for a 100-yard bonus out of one, if not both of them, is certainly there. Both would be like, pretty impressive. But like, it could definitely happen for one, should happen for one of the outside receivers. And Mike Williams gets most of his receiving yards in the outside. Palmer would be the contrarian play, I guess, at 5,600. He's just way too priced up based on his previous volume when Allen and or Williams were out. And then Everett at 4,300 makes for the better contrarian play at a position like tight end, where he's seen 14 targets the last 2 weeks and now running against single coverage. So this is a great spot to attack and try and exploit a Tennessee defense that hasn't really done a good job of stopping many teams against them through the air. Dak Prescott, I know he hasn't put up really big numbers, especially not recently, with 3 straight games under 20 fantasy points, averaging only 17 on the year, but now squares off against Jacksonville. So the stacks this week are somewhat thin. Not a lot of them grade really well from a value perspective. One does, and it's the puke stack. We'll get to that in just a minute. So Dak Prescott has the ability to throw for multiple touchdowns. This game does have a really high total of 48. The Cowboys are favored by 4.5. Their team total is 26 points. Team totals above 24 are essentially better for us statistically, probabilistically, get us to that 30-point game more often than teams that have a team total of 24 or below, because the team totals do correlate very well with fantasy scoring for quarterbacks, because it's efficiency, not volume, that gets us there. Now, Jacksonville, if they give up a lot of yards on the ground, if Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard share 3 touchdowns, then yeah, we're probably not going to see a 2, 3, 4 touchdown game out of Dak Prescott, but they're very exploitable through the air also. So looking at guys like CeeDee Lamb, I think that you're going to see a lot of people flock towards Pollard and Elliott, which means that CeeDee Lamb could come in at a bit of a low percentage played. And if it is one of those Dak Prescott games, look, when you're double stacking in tournaments, you're not playing for a safe play. This is the thing. Can you trust? It's not about trust. Do you believe that there is a chance at a 25+ point day for the quarterback, 30+ point day from the quarterback? And if there is, for these mid-priced and above quarterbacks, then they're going to drag along at least one and more than probably 2 pass catchers with them. We've seen what happens when CeeDee Lamb kind of explodes this 40-point type day. 22, 21 there, 20 in these 2 spots in these games here, with not a lot of touchdowns in the last 4 games, only 1. So getting there for you on volume, except for this big explosion against Green Bay, another spot where this could be a closely contested game. and you could score a ton of points during the witching hour. So let's go over to Underdog Fantasy. And if you have not already, you can make a new account and use that promo code ALSMIZZLE. That's ALSMIZZLE, all one word, and get up to $100 first time deposit on your first deposit to the site. They're running a little thing. You got to go take advantage of this. Jalen Hurts, 0.5 completions on the week. I'm going to go over. I'm going to say he's going to get higher. You know, I like betting the overs. I'm just going to bet the over on this 0.5. They're giving you one. Okay, now it's going to be a limited bet. Let's go with Dak Prescott over 250. Let's go with Michael Gallup over 40.5. And we got to pick somebody. We don't have to. We've got these guys on the other side. Let's just go with the double stack here, right? Let's just do this. Let's do this. There. We have our double stack that we like. Then we have this. How much can I do this for? Is this 25? Is that the most I can do that for? Confirmed. Boom. It's in. So going back here, we have CeeDee Lamb. Also to be stacked with him, you can go with Dalton Schultz. We can clearly go with Michael Gallup with the amount of routes he's running recently. 8, 7, 6 targets the last few games. We saw Noah Brown come up with 6 targets last week, but he is more of a dart throw than anything else at 3,400. He's a viable dart throw at 3,400, but he's nothing more than a dart throw. Dalton Schultz, probably my secondary option, with Gallup being the big play guy behind him. We hope that this game shoots out. There are plenty of bring back opportunities on Jacksonville as well. Andy Dalton. Now here's where it's going to get ugly, guys. This isn't even the puke stack. I'm sorry. It's an ugly week. It's an ugly stacking week. It's a 10-game slate. There's weather. A lot of the good stacks, Miami, Minnesota, Buffalo, they're all off the main slate. We're this is what we're left with. 49ers off the main slate. This is what we're left with. Seahawks gone. So Andy Dalton, it's ugly. I give you that it's ugly, but Atlanta's not good. They allow I think they're top 3 in the league in terms of red zone allowances this year. Offenses get into the red zone a ton against them. They can't really stop anything. And there are vacated snaps in this spot. We've seen Andy Dalton put up some good games. 22 points here, 32 points against Arizona without a rushing touchdown. We need him to have one of those games. But what I like is that there's only really 2 guys that we should be concerned with here. One, Alvin Kamara. Y'all have been hating on me in the replies all week, and I guarantee you're going to come around on Alvin Kamara by the time the weekend gets here, because Mark Ingram is out, and that means that there is going to be more volume in the running game for Alvin Kamara. Somebody replied, well, wouldn't they just sit him and save him for next year? Teams don't do that with running backs. It's not a thing. They might do it like a young quarterback. They might do it like, it's not going to happen in week 15 with Alvin Kamara when they just don't have anybody else. Now, here's really the thing. If you look at their running back room, Mark Ingram out, Washington questionable. Who else are they going to play? They just signed like Eno Benjamin. He's like, Kamara's going to get 75% of the snaps and touches. There's nobody else to throw the ball to as well. So you can use Kamara with an expectation of 15 to 22% of the target market share. And then it's real simple. Just play Olave along with him and hope for one of those deep air yard completions to get to that point. Another somewhat cheap option to get exposure here, and then you can pick a bring back player if you like. But this is actually the 4th best graded stack on the week. That's how thin it kind of gets. Sorry, the 3rd best graded stack on the week. It really gets thin, but from a value perspective, this one is a very solid play. And that brings us to our puke stack, and it's Mac Jones. God, it gets ugly. Got more interceptions and touchdowns on the year. It's less about Mac Jones. He's a value at 5,000. Okay, he's a value play at 5,000. It's less about him, and it's more about these big red letters that are next to everybody's name. If Mac Jones does not have Ramondre Stevenson this weekend, did not practice on Wednesday with the ankle that cost him basically all of his run in the previous game. I think he played, 13 snaps, got 6 opportunities. This is a guy who's going to handle 20 plus opportunities, 25 opportunities. We don't know if Damian Harris is going to go. He was a limited participant in practice. He doesn't really catch the ball anyway. The big misses are right here. Jacoby Myers, still not cleared from concussion protocol. If he is not cleared and Devontae Parker is not cleared, that leaves us with all of those players leave us with Pierre Strong at 4K. That leaves us with Nelson Aguilar at 3,400 with his 10 targets. Yeah, I know he dropped 3-4 balls, but 10 targets for 3,400 is something you're not going to be able to pass up, especially against an extremely leaky Las Vegas defense. Kendrick Bourne, he's going to play 60 snaps. And Tyquan Thornton at 3K. They're all minimum salary. So if they are indeed forced into action because all of these other guys are gone, them plus Hunter Henry basically become a very easy and cheap double stack that allows you the opportunity to stack literally anything else you want in a lineup. By playing 2 to 3 Patriots, you can get to Devontae Adams. You can get to all of the other big plays that you want to go pay for. Henry, Allen. You can go pay for Josh Jacobs if you feel like it. You can go get Alvin Kamara and pay up for whatever else you want around a really highly graded Mac Jones Patriots double stack. It's crazy. I know. Let's go to our Fantasy Labs and take a look at the lineup builder that they have. If you wanted to check out a discounted rate to Fantasy Labs, they just also instituted college basketball into their lineup builder with their projections. NFL, NBA, college basketball, MLB when that comes back around, golf, and NHL. All of them with the All Sports subscription, the 8-month subscription, the best value that is there at smizzle.tv/labs with that uppercase L. We're going to pair the quarterback with exactly 2 wide receivers. Pair the wide receiver with somebody from the other team. This is how I get a bring back play. You can disable this if you'd like. Pair your quarterback with exactly 0 running backs from the same team, excluding the Chargers. We can add New Orleans to this as well this week. Very easy to do. Pair your quarterback with exactly 2 running backs, wide receiver, tight ends from Los Angeles and New Orleans. And then we're going to exclude the Chargers, not LAC, LAC, and NO from here. So that will force 2 of the running back, tight end, and wide receivers for these 2 teams. It will exclude them from this rule here and put them so you can use Kamara and Eckler from those stacks. And we're going to limit to at most 1 running back, wide receiver, or tight end from the same team unless they are in a stack. Go here and apply these settings and generate your 150 lineups. Just realize that you're not going to click that button one time. You do have to spend a lot of time massaging and managing your allocations, your correlations, and your combinations of players that you wanted to get. So I wish you the best of luck. Go check out the great tools they have over at Fantasy Labs, and be sure that you jump in the Discord and look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.